Hi everyone, this is AJ and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a new movie review. Yeah, I'm going to be reviewing the new horror movie, X. Let's talk about it. Okay, yeah, so the movie X, which has just opened, it came out March the 18th of 2022 here in this country with a age rating of 18 and a runtime of 1 hour and 47 minutes. And this is the film that I watched, or I started to watch last night, and I finished it this morning. I'll get into this bit later actually. But before I actually begin my review, why not consider hitting the subscribe button? Because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you a review that is of my own opinion. It's not biased by anyone else's opinion of this film or by any reviews of other people's reviews or anything like that. I go into films and I give you what I think of the film. And that's all I can do for you. So hit that subscribe button. Leave me a comment down below, whether you agree with my review, whether you don't agree with my review, whether you like this film, whether you didn't like this film, whether you're going to watch it, whether you're not going to watch it, whether you're going to pick it up on physical media when it comes out. Anything like that, and we can have a discussion. I do reply to all comments. Also, if you hit the notification bell, you can keep apprised of all my upcoming content, and there will be some. So this film, X. So quick rundown of the story, then I'll get into what I thought of the film. So this film is set in 1979 and it's about a group of 6 individuals, 3 male, 3 female, who are wanting to film a porn film. Yeah, they're there. They want to film an adult film. So they go to this farm where they've sort of hired out a place to stay. The farm is run by these, or the property is run by these 2 old folk, very, very old. And they set about filming their film, and things happen and people get killed. That's about it. The 2 old people are freaks. So anyway, this film stars Mia Goth, as well as a wealth of other actors who I don't know whatsoever. I don't even know Mia Goth. I've not seen her or anything. She's striking by the fact she's got no eyebrows. She looks like she's got no eyebrows, which just makes her look extremely odd. The film was directed, written and produced by Ty West, who has made other films previously, films that I haven't seen. Horror isn't my thing. This isn't my forte. This isn't my go-to genre of film. I don't get excited by horror. Yeah, I've got some horror films, mainstream horror films in my collection, but I'm not a horror buff or anything like that. I don't get excited by the thought of, oh, look how violent something, look how bloody something is. It does nothing for me. And if it does for you, then good on you. You know, I'm sure I like stuff that you don't. But anyway, so this film, this is quite a difficult watch. It's a very difficult watch, actually. I switched it off last night with the intention of not going back to it. I was about 50 minutes in and not very much had happened. But then this morning I thought, you know what, I'm going to see it out to the end. I'm going to watch the rest. I'm going to see it out to the end. But this nearly fell into a series of film that I do, series of video that I do called One That I Switched Off. It was close to that. So that tells you already my thoughts on this film. This film is... Okay, it's not... Let's get for the positives. It's nicely filmed. It looks great. It looks like it's set in the 70s, late 70s. It's got that feel to it. Never did I think that it wasn't set in that era or anything like that. The costume, the colour of the film, all this sort of stuff, the makeup on the people, the hairstyles, all that, all fit for that era, and that looked good. But beyond that, there's not very much positive I can say about it. I didn't like some of the cuts where it's all at 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, between different things to bleed into something else. That was a bit odd. If you see the film, you know what I mean by these cuts between scenes, which they sort of forgot about towards the second half of the film until once at the end. So all very odd. The biggest problem with this film for me, right, is that the story was pretty pointless. The whole let's have a group of people who are going to make a porn film. It feels, from a cynical perspective, feels like nothing more than a story trope to try and get people into the cinema, to try and shock people, to try and, you know, this sort of a thing. It's playing on a basis element within psychology of people, because people like sex. Basically, that's what it comes down to. They're intrigued by it. They want to, you know. So for a male-dominated audience, fan base, a film that's based around the making of a pornography film has a certain intrigue to it, shall we say? Couple that with the violent nature of the film as well. This obviously is based towards a horror-based genre fan base, but it has no consequence on the story in reality. The whole pornography filming storyline could have pretty much been anything. It could have, these characters could have been from any sort of background whatsoever. It didn't have to be pornography, and the film would have played exactly the same. I would say that the choice of them being wannabe porn stars, wannabe porn filmmakers, it is a detriment to the film, because you don't care about any of these characters. Not one of these characters that are in the film you care about, because they're all morally ambiguous. Yeah, they're all there in a morally ambiguous industry, pornography. They're there to make money. Your main heroine is a coke addict. Even the young girl that she seems like she's innocent, and you know, she gets involved with the porn side of it. So there's not one character that you can back, because they're all in this morally grey area in what they're doing. The old couple, Mia Goth actually plays the older woman, Belle herself, in heavy makeup. The makeup isn't very good whatsoever. It just doesn't look right. There's something off with it, you know. It just doesn't sit right, what you're looking at. Now, the film does go into sort of territory of disgust and shock by having this old woman trying to come on to the young girl and touching her in bed when she's asleep, and then the two old folks having sex and this sort of a thing. And it's not a very nice place to be within a film. In the context of the film, characters make silly, stupid decisions like they do in horrors. When she's crawling out from under the bed, you know, trying to secretly crawl out from under the bed when these two old folk are having sex on the bed. Jesus Christ, just roll out and stand up. It'd make no difference. You know, these people are like in their 90s or something. They're not going to be able to move, physically move. You know, the old folk dragging in a dead body, please, come on. He wouldn't be able to do that. He wouldn't be able to lift anything. It just... You know, the movements of them, just, you know, it looks like young people playing older, or younger people playing older people. It doesn't look natural or anything like that in this sort of a sense. So, for me, this is a very cynical movie in that it's been designed to appeal to a certain audience. It's been designed to take certain things that will draw you in, from a basis element within psychology. It's been designed to shock, obviously, to try and make a name for itself and this sort of thing. You know, director, writer, producer Ty West, I'm sorry, but I don't put much faith in you as a filmmaker. You know, I haven't seen anything else that this geezer's done. I don't really wish to be honest, because it's a genre that I don't really play in that often. I just feel this is almost a made by committee, or made by with just tick certain boxes to try and make itself seen over other stuff of its ilk. Yes, it's got a sort of Texas Chainsaw Massacre feel to it. That's primarily because of the setting and primarily because of the era that it is set within. The violence in it is violent, it is gory, there is blood, there is some shock scenes in it, especially when the old woman's knifing at this guy on the floor and his throat's just all open and this sort of a thing. But again, that does nothing for me. That gore, that blood porn, shall we call it, it does nothing for me. It excite me. It doesn't make me elevate the film to any other level than what it is. This isn't a very clever film. It takes about almost an hour before anything happens in the sense of killing. So you're left with getting to know a bunch of characters that are uninteresting, that are not very well developed, that aren't nice people, and thusly this film drags. For its runtime of an hour and 47 minutes, it could have been 15 minutes shorter. It starts to overstay its welcome considerably, hence the reason why I switched it off at about the 50-minute mark last night with the intent of not going back to it. But I did, and thusly this is what I'm telling you, my thoughts on it. Now, film is art and art is subjective, and you may feel differently about this film. You may think it's the best thing since Sliced Bread and it's going to be in your top 10 films of the year. If that's for you, then fantastic. It's not for me. This isn't a clever film at all. It's a hideous film. Now, I know that there's a sequel being made, or a prequel, shall we say, set in about 1918, following the character of Belle, who's the old woman in the film, like as a sort of origin story, a sort of how she was when she was younger. So Mia Goth's going to have some more work. Fantastic for her. But it's not a film that I am going to be visiting at all. And that's it, my thoughts. Anyway, this is AJ. Thank you for watching. Remember, hit that subscribe button. Leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this film if you've seen it, because I have heard rumblings that people say, oh, it's really good, but not for me, not for me. See you later all. Take care and goodbye.